All right. Yeah, so I was thinking of just like scary, I don't know, just scary shit.
Okay. Okay.
Throw in some any real life experiences you might have.
I don't like the problem is I don't know a lot about horror stuff.
Oh, you don't have to. I'm sure you watched a few scary movies when you were a kid, like, I don't know, Babysitter's Club or some shit like that.
Babysitter's Club. No, I watched some scary movies, but like they weren't my favorite just because of like the plot was bad 90% of the time. If I think a plot is like mind numbing and I don't want to follow it, I won't.
Well, I know you got a thing about tomatoes after watching Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. That traumatized you as a child.
No, that was a little bit before my time.
That was a long time before your time.
Just a little bit before my time.
All right, should we start?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I'm a beagle.
Welcome, everybody, to our next episode of One Podcast for Nerds. This is your host for the night, Nolan. That's me. Hey, how's it going? And with me is Austin.
Yeah, that's me. Hey, I'm Austin.
You're going to be hearing us talk a lot more than Andrew because Andrew's sadly not able to make it with us tonight. He's stuck at work. He's listening
takes
in.
up all the oxygen, anyways.
Yeah, gives us a chance to listen to the sounds of our voices. But yeah, poor Andrew. He had to work tonight. He's listening in on his lunch break right now, and later when he's hiding in the cooler pertaining to work, he'll be listening. And from time to time, I'm sure he'll chime in with a few messages in our chat so Austin and I know that he's still there and listening and telling us what we're doing wrong.
As usual.
But yeah, welcome to episode, I'm going to call this episode 29. I think I told Andrew it was 28 last time. Call it 29. If it's wrong,
episode 43. Episode 192.
All right, so Halloween's coming up. I thought tonight we just have a little chat about scary games, scary movies, scary music, any real life experiences that might have traumatized you and scared you. Now, talking about trauma, I mean scary, something that was scary and traumatized you, not like my experience with The Sound of Music, which just traumatized me so badly as a child, which I told you about in like two of our podcasts ago. But yeah, so Austin, is there any game that you've played when you were younger that I don't know,
me?
maybe not scared you, but just had a really kind of scary, spooky feel to it?
I think here. No, I was a little bitch. I always stayed away from scary games.
Well, I'm laughing because Andrew just chimed into the chat. There's a scary ex-wife joke there.
Yeah. Oh, for you, yeah. No. I was always super scared of fucking scary games, man. I had no reason to ever play them. Like, fuck that. There's a I guess like Resident Evil, like the originals Resident Evils were like would count as a horror game, even though I don't really consider them a horror game.
That was the first thing that came to mind was the original Resident Evil, the first one I played on PlayStation. That I remember the one because it had the loading scene where the doors open, or so you don't just see it saying loading, the door opens and all that stuff. Well, it loads from the CD. But I remember there was one part in the game where you're going from one room to another, and when that door opens in a loading scene, zombies come out and you're actually being attacked, and I wasn't ready for that.
And you're like, fuck!
It's like, where the fuck are they coming from? I remember, so like that was like one thing from there. But the whole feel, like I just liked that
Horror
game.
aspect.
Yeah, I like the horror aspect of it.
See, I've always loved Resident Evil, but not for the reason that most people love Resident Evil. Because a lot of people really like Resident Evil for like kind of like the horror aspects, the zombie aspects, and everything like that. I loved Resident Evil for the fact that it was such a confident survival game where you have to you always try to keep everything immaculate in your inventory to fit as much stuff as possible. Right? That's what I always liked. But from that game there, if I had to choose a memory from Resident Evil, the originals, or Resident Evil 4, which was my first Resident Evil game, believe it or not. Resident Evil 4. So it's not too early in the game, but I was also quite young when I had a GameCube, so I really probably shouldn't have been playing it. I just thought Leon looked really cool. But God. So there's once you first get into have you ever played Resident Evil 4?
No, not 4.
Well, once you kind of get into the first town, right? Like one your arch nemesis for that game is like this weird kid guy, but he wasn't in there yet. It was like this giant fucking super tall bearded dude. He like sets off the town's like bell, and that like wakes up all of the people of Las Plagas, right? Which is the new zombie virus that set them all off. But when he sets them all off, like they come out of the fucking woods, man. They're everywhere. And I remember being so overwhelmed. Just running away. Like, because, like, of course, you don't have good aim and you're just firing bullets at nothing and you don't know the knife trick at that point in time, right? So the knife trick is you shoot them once in the foot and you can knife them, and or you press the melee button and you do a roundhouse kick that kicks them over, and you can run up and melee them because they can't do any damage to you, right? And that will give you more H. That essentially will save you ammo at the very least. But so when I was playing, I had no idea about any of that, so I would waste all my ammo. And I remember very clearly getting into a corner of a room and just watching them just hoard me, and I was screaming and everything like that, like, "Oh!" My mom came in my room. She's like, "What are you fucking freaking out about?" And then because I was a kid, I was like, "This game, it's horrifying." And then she took it away from me for a couple of years, which sucks now, but I understand. I understand. But for like horror movies, there was only one horror movie that really fucked with me as a kid. Like, truthfully, like I swore off of horror movies until I was an adult when I realized most horror movies are just dumb because the plot is so stupid. Which was Jeepers Creepers. I watched Jeepers Creepers 1 with some of my friends. I was like,
that was a good movie.
10. Very good movie. I think the first one's better for plot, but the second one's much better for kills.
Oh, absolutely. The second one I enjoyed more, but the first one did have a better story.
But so essentially, yeah, that the bus scene really fucked me up as a kid, and I couldn't watch horror movies for a long time. I started watching like more like goofier stuff that kind of classifies horror, like Evil Dead, everything like that. Back when I first got into high school, because I always thought that was really interesting.
And Ghoulies, Gremlins.
Yeah, kind of thing
The
like that.
funnier, the comedy kind of horror.
Yeah, and then like I went and watched Evil Dead the remake.
I haven't touched that. Don't want to.
Yeah, don't. It is. I mean, I can appreciate what they were trying to do, but like, don't take away everything that makes the game special or the movie special. You know what I mean?
Well, the original just had magic to it. It was
Well, that's
just
what I mean.
special.
They took away all the fun, campy stuff that made Evil Dead what it was, right? They gave all the teenagers, all of Ash's friends, his girlfriend, his sister, all of that, just the generic kind of like horror tropes, everything like that. Like there's a smart kid, the fucking jock, right? And it's just
But
like everything was horrible about it, man. I will never be able to say a good thing about that.
like the original, it was done with no money, and you could tell, and so the whole everything just fit with it. It was a low budget movie. All the gags and stuff, like the camp stuff, was all like it all fit. You can't have that kind of comedy with when once you have money and once you got a bigger budget and you got all the bells and whistles. That kind of comedy doesn't fit.
Mhm.
It really does. It's like I recently watched Velocipaster, which is such a bad movie, but because it's so bad, you laugh and you kind of enjoy it. It looked like It looked like Velocipaster looked like it was filmed by a bunch of film school students, and they all failed.
Oh, because it was.
And yeah, it was. But when everything's done within those confines, everything fits because that's part of the flavor of it. And that's what I found with Evil Dead. And then, like Army of Darkness, they had more money, and so everything was like another level up.
Oh, but
And
they kept the campness and everything like that. That's the thing I really liked about it.
they did, but they didn't make it look like they had a lot of money behind
Oh
it.
well, they just well because they used it for like the set pieces and everything like that. It wasn't like let's make the fucking Deadites into like just generic fucking demon people. I will say though, the raping tree from the remake was actually terrifying.
Maybe I'll give it a go for that.
Uh,
I doubt
uh
it.
no, don't do it. No, no, it's not worth it. Um,
One game that I really enjoyed that maybe not so much, it wasn't terrifying, but it had a lot of suspense to it was I played Silent Hill, the first Silent Hill, in story mode. So you're not being attacked by anything, and that just it was a haunting experience to play it like that. I don't know
well,
if
that
you ever
makes
played
sense.
that. The movie
Uh,
was really good.
I played the second one. The second one was really cool because there's all these different endings, and I like the atmospheric horror that you kind of get with like the fog and everything like that, and how like everything changes, and then with Pyramid Head like hunting you down all the time. I, those were always really interesting to me. I always loved that aspect of the game.
Well, that's like
Um,
Diablo. When I played Diablo, the original, I always played it at night in the dark.
uh, see, the original Diablo was so old at that point for me because one, it was out for a very long time by the time I first played it, right? And so it's so old that the graphics were like so garbage. I guess I never even like considered it, right? Because it was so cartoonish to me, like where you hit a zombie, you just go, and then it dies, right? Don't get me wrong, there was some actual scary stuff with it when you think about it because of like the
I
butcher.
was just going to say the butcher when you go in the room and you just hear fresh meat and
Yeah.
it's dark, he can't see him. He just runs up to you and fucks you.
Yeah. One game that I remember that wasn't ever super scary, but it was just the way they implemented it into the game. Right? Doom 3.
I never played Doom. I played a little bit of the
Uh
first one.
the first two Doom games were like super fucking like I'm just going to smash my buttons here. I'm going to like and I'm really dumbing it down. A lot of people are going to get angry. But like it was a generic, like it wasn't scary, it wasn't even really that hard, like you just if you're good at moving you would never really get hit. um Big thing for that game for me, right, was that made it really terrifying is it was always really really dark in the original Doom 3 release, right?
Yeah,
but but here's the thing.
I'm waiting for it. Lay it on me.
The kicker, right? You could either have your flashlight out or your weapon. You couldn't have both.
That's cool.
Right? So it was always really fucking hard because you're sitting there going like, I can't see shit. And then all of a sudden, fucking boom. Don't get me wrong. In more recent re-releases, they kind of added it into it to kind of make it a little more like playable because it's really, really hard without being able, it's either see or memorize every single little hallway, right? But it was that was such an interesting thing to me because they'd never done anything like that before. What else is like a cool kind of horror-esque experience?
I remember there were a couple games on the original Nintendo, but that was mostly just down to the graphics being so limited that there was a lot of black, everything was dark, and not really scary games, but they just, when you play them, they're dark and they had that kind of feel.
So my whole one thing I actually do remember, right, was from the original Resident Evil, right? You know where like they have that cutscene where it like does a close up on the zombie's face.
Yep.
That fucked me up as a kid.
Oh yeah, you were a lot younger than I was.
Yeah. Well, I still am alive.
A lot more hair.
A lot more hair. I'm getting pissed off to the point where I think I'm gonna shave it. I'm gonna get it all gone.
Hey man, it looks good when you do that.
Yeah.
It's a lot less maintenance. You don't have to worry about all that long hair and taking care of it.
Sounds like you just want me to get rid of it.
Join the club, man. Just like me.
Are you jealous, Nolan? Are you jealous? The hair?
I was never jealous of hair.
But I know horror is a weird thing for me in general. I like good horror, right? Or good horror aspects, right? Or good scary moments in non-horror movies. See if you understand what I'm saying.
I think so.
Right? Like for example, I think the thing that has done more harm for horror as a genre than any good it has ever done is the horror tropes. Right? Like, don't be wrong, it's always fun when like Cabin in the Woods kind of like pokes fun at like the slut, the jock, the stoner, the smart girl, the fucking virgin, and all that stuff. It's always fun to watch them kind of like poke fun at that. But at the same time, right?
That was one of the charms of Scream, because they really mercilessly poked fun at that.
Well, yes, but like the whole fact that those became an aspect of horror in general, that's one of the things I dislike. And the main reason of it is because it's so lazy, right? Like fucking, and then another big crime of horror that I say at the very least is the fact that like everybody's so fucking stupid.
There is no smart person in any group.
Exactly, right? Even the person's like, they even have like the stereotypical like glasses and like unfashionable clothes and everything like that. And like, yes, see, if I was Jason, I wouldn't go over here because this is that and that's this, and he's obviously scared of water. Blah 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 blah, kind of thing like that, right? Sure as shit, they walk up to the water and Jason's in the water and he pulls them in and stabs them 37 times with his fucking machete, right? And you're like, oh wow.
The nerd always dies exactly the same way he said he would.
Yeah. Thinks they're too smart or like whatever. But another big thing I fucking can't stand, right, is adding kills. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like for certain slasher ones, especially if like iconic killers like Krueger or Jason or Michael and everything like that, it's always kind of cool to see, fucking them go ham on like a party or something like that where they just kill people. But if it's like, there's a YouTube channel I watch called Fresh Meat, I believe. I have still have a little bit of a headache, so I can't quite remember. But Fresh Meat. and he has something called the golden chainsaw and like the dull machete. For
Yeah.
the golden chainsaw is for the best kill, and dull machetes for the worst kill. Right? So it's like there's always like don't try to just pad your numbers. Have cool, interesting kills, right? Or like stuff that like really, really leaves it up to imagination, because your imagination what's really scares you.
Well, it's like I can't remember what movie it was. It was, I don't know, one of the Jason movies or something like that from back then. And he's chasing a bunch of kids out of a house, and they're running down the street. And the next scene, he's walking through a drive-through and just randomly opens the door and stabs two people in a car and moves on, and then finishes chasing the kids. And
You're like,
like you
why?
said, just some more blood shots and a couple more kills.
And just pat kind of like, and like the biggest crime that I think like having stupid survivors is it's to make the killer look more scary. In reality, if your killer was scary, right, or
They'd all
was
be
like,
dead.
they'd all be dead, right? But they're not dead, right? So then their killer's not scary anymore. So like, if you have an intelligence, at least one or two intelligent survivors, not just like the last girl kind of thing, like actually competent people, right? It makes the killer more scary, or monster more scary, if like they still lose and they do everything right, but the killer is just that good.
Yeah.
I think that right there is terrifying. Um, do you have any funny memories about people being scared in horror movies? Because I think you do, just because you wanted to do this and you thought I'd be a little bitch about being scared all the time.
Well, the horror movies never really scared me. I grew up watching them. My parents would rent them back in the days of VHS. I don't remember Betamax, although I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure my parents did Betamax and then VHS. But they go to bed and the movies would be too scary, so they take them, put them in their bedroom. And I became a little thief when I was quite young.
Oh,
I
Nolan.
could very easily, once everyone was in bed, I'd sneak into my parents' room, take the video off of their dresser, go downstairs, watch it. And like I'm like 6, 7 years old doing this when I first started.
Yeah.
And I did like I saw every scary movie my parents ever got in the dark around midnight.
Yeah.
And then when I was done, I'd sneak back upstairs and put it back on the dresser, same spot, so they never knew I watched it. So like
Did you
I
ever
never got
rewind
scared,
it
but
though?
yes, I always
That
rewound it.
so because as to say, it wouldn't have been very smart. It's kind of like taking your parents' vodka but pouring water in it, because yeah, putting it back in the freezer and going like, huh? They go in there. I'm gonna have a little bit of vodka, and they look in there and go, huh? My vodka's frozen. My fucking teenagers.
But no, like I was kind of immune to a lot of scary movies when I was a kid. I mean, the ones I watched and the ones I watched over and over were so low budget that yeah, they had all the usual horror tropes, and they were all just cookie cutters of the same thing.
Yeah.
Halloween was a little different, I think. Halloween, I don't think in the original Michael Myers killed as many people. I think he was more chasing Jamie Lee Curtis around.
Well, I
There's
think that's
one
what made it
scene.
more scary.
There's one scene that I thought was great, and you know what? It's probably what it probably did scare me. And she's in a hallway, she's crying because she's scared, trying to get away. And there's like an open doorway or something like that next to her, and it's pitch black in there. And then all of a sudden, you just see Michael Myers, the mask light up a little bit, like come into the light, and
Yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah.
there, and he just pauses, and he's just standing there for a few seconds before she knows he's there. And like, I was a kid, I was a little kid. That scared me. That,
Really, the fuck
and you know what?
fucked you up.
The Halloween theme music I thought was scary when I was a kid.
Actually, that leads into my thing. So like, remember when I asked, because I asked a little bit ago, if you had a moment that was funny about like horror, like a horror story that was funny, like maybe your friend was too scared, kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
Do you have one?
Um, not real. I was always just surprised that most people didn't see it coming.
Uh, so for me, my one buddy does not do good for it. Like if he ever listens to this, he's gonna fucking kill me. Like he's not like if you want somebody to protect you in a horror movie, my friend Jake is not the person to protect you in a horror movie. Right? He's sitting there, and we're sitting there, we're all watching. I think it was Paranormal Activity. Don't quote me. I don't quite remember if it was Paranormal Activity. I think it was like 4. It wasn't even the scary one, right?
The first one was a bit scary.
The first one was just because the first time we ever seen anything like
Yeah.
that, right? That was actually scary. We're sitting there, me and my sister and my friend Jake. We're watching the show, and we're like, it's getting to the point where like the fucking parents are getting tossed around by the poltergeist and everything like that, and we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, fucking look over, and Jake's his eyes are open. His eyes are open, fucking not even phased by anything what's going on the screen, but he has his hands over his ears. I nudge him, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "What?" I'm like, "Why are you covering your ears?" He's like, "It's scary." I'm like, "And like," and he's like, "Well, the music's what makes it scary, because the music builds up and everything like that." And I remember making fun of him, but now that I'm thinking about it, music really does kind of build you up for like the anticipation. It gets you like like when it goes like when Michael's chasing people, where Michael Myers is chasing people, it's like ring ding 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 kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
Right, that's actually quite scary, as it's like kind of like gets you amped up, it gets your blood flowing and everything like that. Right.
Well,
So
it's funny because like with scary music and horrors, it's really simple, some very short, repetitive bits of music, and they just like speed up or like something changes. Like in Halloween, it's a very very short chord, but it but every time it repeats, it's different, and so it makes, because you can feel it, it's building, and so it makes your feelings, your like sense of dread and horror kind of build with it, just like Jaws. That's what's so brilliant about the Jaws theme music.
oh
And
yeah,
like you hear that, and like it builds the suspense for the scene. Music is such a huge component of that.
I just remember
Sure,
sitting
you can
there.
see them running around, you can see them swimming in the ocean, but you hear the music and you know it's coming, and then you're just waiting, and you're waiting, and you're waiting, and you're waiting, and the music's building, and then boom, guy gets eaten by a shark
You're
or
like,
gets stabbed by Michael
no,
Myers. But you're waiting, you're
no.
waiting, you're waiting. You're on the edge of your seat, just waiting. You're all wound really tight, like coiled like a spring, right? And then it
Yeah.
happens, and boom, and like and you get the little jump in you, and that comes from the music, man. The music's what builds that.
I can agree with that actually, but like I said, I just remember looking at him and laughing, and people are like people are like looking at us because I'm like actually laughing at him, right? But
Did he get back at you by taking you to Marley and Me?
oh, this different buddy, believe it or not,
Okay,
different buddy. This Jake was like, it
because
was
you
an old
embarrassed
family.
Jake, and then someone else
Uh,
embarrasses
uh,
you.
Jake and I have been family friends for a long time, but like this the guy for Marley and Me was a friend from high school. I was really hoping everybody would forget about Marley and Me. It sucks. Fuck, I can't believe you remembered that.
Oh, I'm gonna remember all kinds of things, man.
Yeah, man. But yeah, so essentially, yeah, Marley and Me. Fuck. I changed my mind. Some of the most scary movie in the world, Marley and Me, because it fucking makes you cry your eyes out like a little bitch. But going to my next question for you, Nolan, even though you're the host of the show.
We're hosting it together, man.
What is your favorite horror movie? Doesn't have to be the best horror movie, but like, what is your favorite horror movie? I do know that
Well,
Evil Dead is your favorite movie.
I was gonna say Army of Darkness is my favorite movie of all time, but for horror, oh, I was just talking about this with a friend. What makes me love a horror movie is because I do feel like I'm immune to a lot of them because I just watched so many of those movies when I was a kid.
Mhm.
One movie that really gets to me that like when I watched it as a kid and like I can't explain why, but The Birds by Alfred Hitchcock. I like it wasn't
You're
so
fucking with
much
me, right?
scary, but I fucking hated that movie because of just like what I don't know what I can't describe how it made me feel, but like I don't know, watching it like I just felt really, really uncomfortable. Same with Return to Oz. I fucking hate Return to Oz.
Yeah, but
That
Return to
was
Oz is actually scary, like legit.
like that. I wasn't scared of it. I just had this like, it just made me feel so uncomfortable. I just never wanted to watch it. But my
Uh,
favorite horror movie, oh, the Poltergeist movies were kind of scary. I liked those, but
Those movies are
you know
pretty
what?
good.
It really comes down to like just sheer ridiculousness and movies like Ghoulies and Critters, like old '80s movies. Those are the
The
one like
really really bad ones,
I
eh?
love those. And you know what? I was always a huge fan of Nightmare on Elm Street, the Freddy
Oh,
Krueger movies.
mhm, mhm.
I thought, okay, I think hands down, Freddy Krueger was the scariest bad guy, like horror villain character, because he got you when you were sleeping in your dreams, in your nightmares. You could not escape from him. Well, they did, but he was the hardest one to get away from because at some point everybody's gonna fucking go to sleep.
Well, and that's the thing for me. Like I wasn't really as scared as Freddy because Freddy actually like talked. He wasn't like like Jason, for example. Right? Jason is a force of fucking nature.
Yeah,
Right? He's a fucking force of nature where he will get you. Like he will fuck you up.
yeah, but
Right.
when Jason dies and it's just his mask there on the ground, it was Freddy Krueger's hand that came up and grabbed him and dragged him to hell.
Yeah. And at the end of
That's
if
if
we're
you
gonna
don't
go
count
that route,
Freddy in space or
uh,
Jason in space.
yeah, but Jason X is bad. We don't talk about Jason X. Um, so if we're gonna be talking about that, then Jason was the one who cut him in half at the end of Freddy versus Jason. He walks out of the water, right?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Aliens. When they find the guy stuck to the wall, and
Oh,
because I never saw Alien first. I saw Alien after I saw Aliens, so I didn't get to experience like the alien bursting out of John Hurt's chest, or not
yeah.
his. Yeah, the first time I saw that was in Aliens, and like that wa- that was scary to
That's
me.
I'll
That
fuck you
was
up.
one.
That's
That
for
one
sure.
got me. That one made me jump. I wasn't ready for that. My parents
That
probably were, but then I was watching this. I think at night after I stole it from their dresser when they had gone to bed.
thing that I don't think that is. I don't. The reason why I don't think that's a scary scene is because before I seen Aliens, I seen Spaceballs. You know the
That's another one
hello
of my
my
favorite
love,
movies, man. I
yeah,
love that so much.
hello my honey,
Pizza the
hello my
Hut.
baby, hello my ragtime gal, right? I remember seeing that beforehand, and so then when I got to that scene, because I was like, I think I was like 4 or 5. Oh no, it was older than that. I was like probably like 10 when I seen Spaceballs for the first time, and I still a lot of the jokes from Spaceballs that I really loved. Right, I know this is the horror episode, but I'll get back to horror quickly. But a lot of the jokes that I loved as a kid are the least funniest jokes as from Spaceballs that I enjoy as an adult. Like what the joke that went way over my head is when they're like in the desert and then like the Rick Moranis is like, what are you guys doing? Yeah, what are you guys doing right there? And he's like, oh, we're combing the desert, and he has one of the hair picks as they're like giant hair picks as they're combing the desert.
Yeah.
One of the stupidest fucking joke in the entire movie. But as an adult, I love that joke so much.
Oh man, that's still one of my favorite jokes in that.
Yeah,
That
right?
and having the gangster Pizza the Hut, and he's got like the cyborg henchman, and Pizza Hut's talk, and the henchman's like started like eating the toppings off of it. Like, oh man, that's great stuff.
So for the alien bursting out of his chest, that wasn't scary for me. As it was more funny. Because I when I first seen it, I was like, oh, that's what it's from.
Where it came from.
And like, I don't understand how people were ever scared for Ripley in that movie. Ripley was such a badass through every fucking scene. The moment like anything bad happened, I'm like, she's gonna figure it out. Right? She's a god. Right?
Yeah.
So like, I was never worried about Ripley in that movie. Oh, Nolan, so that you're most scared, like what you think the best horror movie is Aliens, right?
Oh no. If you want something that's going to be like scary, creepy, kind of shock value, I probably think The Ring or Ju-On. Those were, but that was because those were different. I really, really fucking enjoyed those, especially The Ring. But the girl that comes out of the well.
Yeah. You will die in 7 days.
Yeah. But my favorite ones are the old ones like Ghoulies, Critters, like, oh man, Piranha 2. Piranha was when everyone's getting eaten in the ocean by piranhas. That's the first one. The second one, they're crossbred with flying fish, so now the piranhas are flying through town eating people. You can't beat that shit, man.
See, for me, right. So
I
now,
think of horror movies, and I just love the ridiculousness of them. That's it.
Okay. See, for me, it was always the. What is the worst horror movie you've ever watched before? So we'll do best and worst, and then I'll do my two.
Oh fuck, the worst. Oh man, we
Like
said we're
it
not going to
wasn't
talk
even
about Jason
scary.
X. What's that?
Like it wasn't scary. Like a lot of good horror movies are bad horror. Like aren't good movies, right? But they're scary, right? So like, what is your least favorite or like most hated horror movie that you've ever seen?
The one movie that I hated that it was called a horror was Arachnophobia, because that was funny as hell, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe not funny as hell, but like John Goodman just made that funny. I remember, oh fuck, the first zombie movie where the zombies actually ran. That scared me.
The fucking Zack Snyder Day of the Dead.
Was that the first?
Or no, it was Dawn of the Dead. Sorry, it was Zack Snyder's. At least that's the first one I ever seen.
I mean, there were a lot of bad, like, there's everything that comes to mind is just stuff that is so bad that I enjoyed it, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Like,
it's a good one.
some of them are just so stupid that you have to enjoy them. Oh fuck! Now I'm drawing a blank. Worst one. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some, but some more modern ones and more action than horror, and that just ruins the whole feel for me. No, I'm gonna have to think about that. How about you?
Right. So, what I think the best horror movie is, and that's if this is my choice, right? I think Cabins in the Woods is the best horror movie.
That was a good one.
Right? Because yeah, it kind of like cracking a joke about the what's it called, about like all the horror tropes and everything like that, and they're kind of making fun of it, but not in the same way that Scream ever made fun of it, kind of thing, you know. My whole thing that I hated about it, that I loved about it, is the fact that it's just like they knew what they were doing wasn't super serious, right? um and how it didn't take themselves seriously, but at the same time, they actually had modern horror tropes that really kept them together. Um, with the same kind of bullshit being with what's it called? Um,
I'm leaving it hanging here because I can't
I'm
think
trying to think
either.
here. Sorry. What Sigourney Weaver shows up at the very end as like the leader of the fucking corporation that's like taunting these kids, right? And it's just like because she's horror movie uh like royalty. It's just like whenever fucking what's her name shows up finally. Who played Michael Myers' sister?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
I mean, it's whenever Jamie Lee Curtis shows up, like when you see Jamie Lee Curtis in like a modern horror movie, you're like, oh shit. Or it's just like the lady who plays Sydney in Scream.
Yeah.
You're
All
like,
right.
fuck, it's about to get real good. And then for my 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 least favorite horror movie of all time. I don't
I
like
know
a
what
lot
mine
of
is
horror.
now.
I don't know what a lot of mine would be because I don't like a lot of horror movies because they're so bad usually.
I
Mm.
just I didn't hate this movie like a lot of people did in the theaters, but I just failed to kind of see the point. That was the Blair Witch Project.
Oh, there you go. That's the idea of the Blair Witch Project was scary, the first one, because it was like found footage and they made it look like it was all real and everything like that.
Yeah,
And that
that
was
did.
scary.
And like that was back in the day when I used to go like camping in the woods with my buddies and it would just be us in the woods. And so I could kind of like relate to that, but I just I don't know.
The fact that like the found footage and it's like the blame all these teenagers were never seen again. Right? I can understand how that was kind of spooky.
I don't know, I
Um
just didn't like it.
I think here. What else is there? For me, and this might seem like kind of a cop out because I can't stand the Evil Dead remake, but I think that's the worst horror movie I've ever seen.
Well, yeah, because like there's some horror movies that they make them and they're just not horror.
Well, no, it's a horror movie. It's just a fucking bad, unfun piece of shit of a movie, right? Um, it made no sense to me. I fucking hated every aspect of it.
Oh, you know, another one I really hated was Jaws: The Revenge.
Was
Because
that
like
the one where it's in the fucking the theme park?
I think so, and they kill the shark, and then there's Nolan out there, and the guy's like, "It's his mother." It's like, oh fuck, like come
Dun
on.
dun. My whole thing is, so they like there's one where they're in like a water park, like fucking the killer whales and everything kind of park, right?
Yeah,
And they have like Jaws swim into it, and I believe if I could be wrong, it might be a dolphin they kill, right? What the shark kills. I think it was an orca. They killed like the fucking Jaws killed the killer whale. And I'm like, are you kidding me? There's no way in hell that fucking a shark could kill an orca, especially since orcas are like the fucking asshole of the uh like an they
of the
ass.
ocean,
Yeah, man, they'll kill like seals just for fun.
and they hunt sharks. They hunt great whites. It's the only predator the great white has.
Yep. But that's the thing. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
But Horror movies, they've never really. It's been very rare where ones actually kind of scared me. I felt uncomfortable by some of them, like fucking Return to Oz, but
What is one like that for me? Um, I really like the all the he did the Aquaman movies recently. One second, what are they called? What's his
the
name?
what?
The director, he did the Aquaman movies. Just one second. James Wan.
That name means nothing to me.
He does a lot of horror movies. He actually got famous from making horror movies, such as like Saw and The Conjuring, right?
Saw was such a good one.
The thing I don't like about Saw is how it kind of changed the horror genre from like serial killers and everything like that to like the most disgusting fucking body horror possible. Because like if we didn't get if Saw wasn't there, we wouldn't have got stuff like the Human Centipede.
Yeah,
You know what I
I
mean?
tried watching that and it's like, this is so stupid. I'm done.
Like Conjuring, right? It's amazing. I absolutely love Conjuring. It's so much heart. It's so good. The Even though it's about like fucking ghosts and everything like that, and I know ghosts don't exist. And if you think ghosts exist, that's cool for you, but don't try to convince me I don't believe in them.
Dude, I've told you, there's a ghost outside Revelstoke in Three Valley Gap in that haunted in the ghost town there, man. There's a little girl that haunts the train station in there.
Yeah.
I've seen it. My number two at my job, he's seen it and totally creeped the fuck out of both of us. Little
Well,
girl
so I mean,
trying to
you
play
can
with our
believe in
kids.
it, but I'm
Like,
not gonna
it's true,
believe
man.
you.
It's true. I'm not you. I told you this, and you were so surprised, and you're like, "But you don't believe in ghosts." Like, I don't. But that one is fucking real. That little girl is fucking real, man.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I don't believe in ghosts, but like the Conjuring movies were always scary because of my big thing. Both of them were really smart and they were actually good exorcists, right? But
Mm-hmm.
speaking of exorcists, The Exorcist.
That was
That's
good.
another really good fucking horror movie.
Oh, there are lots of good ones. Lots and lots of good ones. Fuck that. All the Exorcist movies. I enjoyed most of those, I think. Friday the
Uh
13th was a great series. Nightmare on Elm Street. Those classic ones I really, really enjoyed.
the thing I liked about the what's it called? Sorry. The thing I liked about um The Exorcist wasn't that it was scary, because don't get me wrong, I watched it like way after it was out, right? I thought the thing I
Yeah.
liked about The Exorcist was it was shot so beautifully. Like everybody cared about that show. Like every person that was involved gave a fuck about that show. And I gotta say, I really appreciate it because it was so refreshing.
Well, see, that's like when you watch documentaries about these old shows, like the Friday the 13th movies, the original Halloween, like these people, it's usually like their first foot in the door, and it's their first bit like actual attempt at making something. And the reason why they have so much staying power is they put every ounce of themselves into it, and that comes across even without the big budgets and all that stuff. Like they have, there's a heart and there's a soul to those movies. I mean, they're still horror movies, so like, but like they have a lot of heart and soul in them, and that's what
Hmm.
gives them legs and makes them classics. It's like
Um,
Elf is one of the greatest, I think, Christmas movies of all time because that movie's got heart and soul. Like everyone who worked on it, you could tell just loved and wanted to make it so true to like the original, like stop motion, that Rudolph cartoons and Frosty cartoons and all that stuff. But and it all comes across like you can tell that they had passion when they made that, and that's why Elf is such a great Christmas movie. There's still heart and soul and passion in these horror movies that, like the original Evil Dead, that sets them apart. That might not be as big and flashy and have all the bells and whistles that everything else has when you have money, but you can still make a piece of art that can still affect someone.
No, I agree with that. Well, my whole thing about so I disagree with you on Christmas movies. I know this is the Christmas episode, but you know what I think the best Christmas movie is?
Tell me.
Die Hard.
You know what? Die Hard's always been a Christmas movie to me. Mm-hmm. So is Gremlins. Since we're going,
that's a good one too.
Gremlins is a Christmas movie, and I will fight to the death anyone who says otherwise.
Everybody who says otherwise is like needs to give their heads a shake. If it's set during Christmas, it's a fucking Christmas movie,
right? The snow on the ground, Christmas lights, Christmas carols in the background, Christmas movie. Yep. Doesn't matter if there's gremlins killing people and melting in sunlight. Christmas movie.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the main focus. It doesn't have to be the main focus of the movie to be a Christmas movie. Right?
No.
The Santa Claus doesn't have to come in and save the fucking day.
No. Gizmo has to save the fucking day.
Yeah. Actually, he's kind of a badass in ones too. With his fire arrow and his fucking Rambo bandana.
One of the greatest and cutest moments in all of cinema is Gizmo saying Rambo. Rambo! Like, yeah. Oh, man. Right there. That just melts my heart, man.
What else is there that's always been really cool?
But, I love the
Rambo!
Like the Dracula movies, though, like Bram Stoker's Dracula or like the Frankenstein and the Wolfman movies, I always love the mythology behind a lot of those creatures and characters. But again, none of them ever really scared me, I don't think.
Well, I can agree with you there. I don't think they're really meant to be considered scary, though. No?
I don't think so.
Like maybe at the point in the time, but I think it's like people's view of scary is kind of moved away from that. Kind of like how nowadays people's view of scary is like jump scares.
Yeah, it has to make you jump out of your seat to be scary. Whereas, like, another good one was Tremors. Tremors, because, like, again, there's a lot of comedy in it, and I love the mix of the kind of like the horror and the comedy.
Is Tremors really a horror movie? Because, like,
I don't know. I'm thinking about
Graboids aren't scary.
Now.
Graboids aren't scary.
Yeah, I don't. I don't think they are. Now that we think about it. But
what else is there? The classic horror movies. Like, don't get me wrong, I think Tremors is a fucking awesome movie. Tremors 1 is awesome. Actually, believe it or not, Tremors 4 is also really good.
Yeah, I've watched the first 3. I haven't seen 4.
Well, you should watch 4 because it actually kind of treats itself quite seriously. Where, like, it kind of the Graboids are actually scary because they don't have modern equipment. It's like a Western. It's set for when the town was first created.
Okay.
Right? So they don't have modern technology to save them, which is fucking pretty cool in my eyes.
It's going on my list. Oh, you know what? I forgot one that I watched as I was probably like 11 or 12. Was Candyman. The original Candyman. They did a remake like 10, 15 years ago. It was all right, but not nearly as good as the original. But the original Candyman, that was a good one. That was great. That one actually, I very, very rarely get nightmares. That one gave me a nightmare.
Oh well, I think it's because the original Candyman is actually like it's got the reason why Candyman's actually scary is because it's got like these like super super topical fucking like undertones.
Yeah, and he's got that fucking meat hook. And in that dream, he got me with the meat hook, and he like dragged me around by that. I still remember that.
Fuck, dude.
Left me with a pretty cool scar in my dream. Because of course I got
And
away. But
and you know what? You know what else? Fucking chicks dig scars. So in your head, you're like, yeah. But
I always wanted a cool scar.
my
It's like
own
I want
thing
to go
for
for a walk in the woods and get attacked by a cougar just to get some
I
scars.
don't want to get attacked by a fucking cougar, man. Those things will
No, I'm
fuck you up.
old. I'm an old man now. I don't want that.
There's an old tale from where I lived. My parents used to tell me about this guy who lived. So there's the pipeline. I don't know why they call it the pipeline because there's no fucking pipe there. First of all, right? Anybody in Clearwater, it's a dumb name. You're dumb.
Yeah.
And he was walking his dog there. He just spent like he had this $5,000 dog, right? This new puppy he bought, and he's walking it on the pipeline, right? And all of a sudden, a fucking cougar comes out and mauls this fucking dog. Like he's walking from one end, right? And it's like grassy trees on one end and grassy trees on the other. I think, right?
Yeah.
So, the fucking thing comes in and tackles it from what like the right side of the path over to the left side of the path, and then all of a sudden he's sitting there and he's kind of like just kind of taken aback because he's never fucking seen anything happen before, right? But then he just starts running after his fucking dog, right? He manages to catch up to this fucking cougar and fucking he gets it into this headlock, this cougar, and it didn't want because it didn't want to let go of the prey. So it wasn't like it didn't want to like bite him because it was biting the dog already.
Yeah.
So when he did that, he fucking ran over and like I said, he was fucking had the dog in the fucking headlock and just punching the shit out of this fucking or the cougar in the headlock, just punched the shit out of this cougar until he finally got it to let like the dog go. Right?
Yeah.
Then when he finally got it to let it finally got to let the dog go, he fucking like he grabbed the dog and took off. When he finally did that, like he like got the dog back to his truck and he was like running it like it was gonna take it to like the fucking veterinarian, even though there's no vet in Clearwater. It must have been in that for that month. But he fucking like he realized once he got the dog back into the fucking truck, he's like, I could have died.
I would jump in there if it was my kids being attacked by a cougar, but I wouldn't do that for a dog.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's so like so apparently he got to his truck and everything like that, and like he was telling all of his friends and everything like that, my parents that, and he was sitting there going like, apparently I didn't realize it, but like I was like, by the time I figured like got in my truck, I was like, I could have died over a dog. Like I could have just bought a new dog. Right, and I know there's gonna be people out there gonna be like, well, "That's so heartless. They're fucking part of your family." But yeah, fucking, it's not worth your life.
Well, my hot take is I'm a cat guy, not a dog guy. I'll play with someone else's dog, but they can take that dog for a walk. Not my thing.
You can take that dog for a walk.
She'd have to be very, very cute and have a good pension.
Have a good. Well, yeah, you're gonna need it if you're gonna fucking jump in on a fucking a cougar, man, a mountain lion.
And hey, when you get to my age, that's one of the things to start thinking about is pension. But, all right, I think we're going a little off topic there.
Sorry, but like that's actually scary. That stories like that I think are actually scary.
Yeah. So is dating when you're single at this age. But hey, we can do another episode about that.
Dating, oh god.
I'm sure we both got some horror stories. And Andrew's tied down, though I'm sure he's got some stories he could share from before. But
The question is, what do you want to?
he might not want to. He's got a listener that has a vested interest in him.
Yeah. Is it worth it, Andrew?
Oh, hey,
Oh.
like got so many. Let's fucking do it. All right, we're gonna have a dating episode on
gonna
One
get-
Podcast for Net Nerds.
I'm gonna get really close to the camera. I'm gonna go, Andrew. Would you like to play a game?
Hey, I'll do some things once.
Some things you can only do once, Nolan.
Oh shit. All right. Well, maybe we should wrap it up here. But to all of our listeners, thank you for listening to us once again on One Podcast for Nerds. Episode, I'm calling it 29/43.
I'm
And
going with 192.
why not? I just want to say thank you to Austin for joining me tonight. I'm
Well, thanks for
Nolan,
having me, Nolan.
and with me was Austin, the Beagle, and
I'm the Beagle.
you can listen to us next week. I'll let Andrew cut and paste something about Acast and supporting us and all that stuff, his spiel. I'm the guest host tonight, so I'm going to get away without doing that. So, all right. Everyone out there, take care. Thanks for listening. We didn't really talk about Halloween, just some scary stuff. I was going to ask you some Halloween questions, but
Well, here, let's quickly do one each. Just
all
because it's
right.
supposed to be the Halloween episode.
What was your favorite Halloween costume dressing up as?
So I have two for that answer. That's okay.
Go for it.
My first one was when my dad was really, really sick. He wanted everybody to dress up. He said like money wasn't expense. He just wanted to see everybody dress up one last time, kind of thing. So I was really obsessed with Transformers, and we ordered this $800 fucking Optimus Prime costume that I wore for
Fucking man.
wore for Halloween. And the other one was when I was a kid. I lived up north in Mackenzie, which isn't too far up north for some people, but it gets really cold up there, right? And well, I dressed up as Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh. But we were so young. My parents made us wear like snowsuits under it, so I dressed up as super obese Yami Yugi as a kid, and it's like I was so grumpy as a kid, but like as an adult, I'm thinking back on it, I'm like, fuck, that's funny.
It's like when I was a kid growing up in Edmonton, we go trick or treating. Like we'd wear a fucking snowsuit under our costume. I remember one year I got an outfit, and my mom never thought that it's gonna have to wear a snowsuit underneath. And so
Yeah.
Halloween, I put it on, it fits, take it off, get my snowsuit on, try to put it on again. No fucking way that's going over top the snowsuit.
Yeah.
So I had to go with the costume I had the year before, but which was a devil, which was great because I was able to double dip. I had long trident.
Yeah.
And I'd be the first one at the door, get my candy, go around back because it'd be like 7 or 8 kids. Put my bucket on the end of my pitchfork, hang it over. I double dipped every chance I got.
See, that's smart. So you're a clever. What you should have dressed up as the Velociraptor from Jurassic Park.
My
Clever
son
girl.
was this year. Well, it's close. We got him an inflatable T-Rex. One of those ones.
Dude, I think that's awesome. I fucking love those costumes. What else is there? So, all right, Nolan. Halloween. You asked me my favorite costume.
My favorite was my
when you were
Hagrid. All right, go on. So
when you were a teenager, because Halloween isn't just for kids.
no, it's not.
When you were a teenager, what was the worst like thing you did during Halloween?
Oh, the worst thing I did during Halloween started with the costume. I was hanging out with my friend. We were 15 or 16. We weren't going to go trick-or-treating. Neither of us had costumes. and we start handing out candy at Mom's house, and then we're like, "Fuck this! Why don't we go get some candy?" As Mom ran a daycare out of her basement, so she had a trunk full of like costumes and all this dress up stuff.
Yeah.
And my buddy, he was tiny. He was like, I'm gonna say 4'2", but he's probably about 5'2". He was
Mhm.
so small, so he fit into all the kinds of stuff that she had in there, and she kept all of like his older brother's old costumes and all that stuff. So no problem finding something for him. But I've always been a big guy. The only thing that fit me was a Santa outfit that she had homemade, put together, that her husband wore for these kids one year, and like it was a stretch to say it was Santa. It was like there was red on it, but like it wasn't a Santa outfit. But only thing we had that fit me, right? So I put that on, and my buddy's like, "There's one thing missing." Opens a can of beer and sprays me with it. Say, "There you go.
Oh,
You're gonna be drunk Santa." So at 15 or 16, I trick or treated as drunk Santa, and my buddy,
nice.
that was the greatest thing. We open, like, we knock on a door, and someone would open it, and like, they, "Aren't you guys a little old?" It's like, "Oh, just trick or treating." They're like, "What are you?" My buddy's like, "I'm whatever the hell he was." And he's like, "And he's drunk Santa," and that never went down well. But the worst thing, same how trick or treating trip. We went to this one house, and there was this kid. He was in, like, I think the grade below us, and he was handing out candy because I guess his mom thought he was too old to go trick or treating. And he had I'm pretty sure he had a learning deficit or something like
Mhm.
that. And my buddy, he's like, we're the last people trick or treating. There's no one else out here. You should just give us the rest of the candy. And he had a great big bowl of candy, right? And
Yeah.
to be fair, we were probably the last ones out because we started late, and we wanted to get as much candy as we could. And so this kid, he recognized us from school, and my buddy talked him into it, took advantage of him,
Yeah.
and I felt kind of dirty about that. But I never really got up to a whole. That was probably the that's probably the worst Halloween story
Story.
I've got. Yeah,
Mm. It's
where I
kind of
went as
innocent.
drunk Santa.
Kind of innocent, man. Uh,
I mean, I did participate in a Roman candle fight once, but those were so
yeah.
common when I lived in Barnetville. That wasn't anything.
See, I've never did Roman candle fights. That's for sure. But
I
I
only did it
used.
once, and then we didn't do it the following year because some kid burnt himself.
Yeah. See, that was me. I was always scared of that kind of thing. But I will say one thing that I did do a lot of during Halloween was TP people's houses.
We did that a few times.
I specifically remember um TPing someone's house, but not realizing that somebody was home.
I got a story about my brother who threw a party at my parents' house, and his friend came running through the front door after taking all my mom's eggs and egging the neighbor's house and getting caught.
Fuck. Um. See, so what happened was I TP'd their house, right? And the guy came out, but he didn't come out with like a bat.
We come up.
Came out with a shotgun. And I remember this fucking hillbilly fucking, oh yeah, you fucking teenagers think that's fucking funny? Boom! Shoots it up there. You think this is fucking funny? Boom! Right? And I'm like, we're hiding behind like a tree in like his neighbor's backyard. Like, holy fuck! This wasn't a good idea. But yeah, That's the worst thing I've ever done during a Halloween. Almost die.
All right. Well, I think we should end it on that.